Have you been studying English for months, maybe even years, but still feel stuck? Do you read grammar books, memorize vocabulary lists, and even take classes, yet when you try to listen to a native speaker, it feels like they are speaking another language? You're not alone. In fact, this is the reality for millions of English learners around the world. They work hard, they dedicate time, they even spend money, but their results don't show. The truth is, it's not your fault. You've been following a system that was designed to keep you trapped. A system that makes you feel busy, makes you feel like you're learning, but in reality, it's slowing you down. You might think that the problem is your memory, your talent, or maybe even your age. But no, there's one single mistake, one hidden problem that destroys almost every learner's progress. And unless you fix it, you will keep wasting years of your life. So what is this mistake? Why do so many learners stay stuck at the same level no matter how much effort they put in? That's exactly what we're going to uncover in today's episode of the Daily English Mastery Podcast. By the end of this lesson, you will finally understand the reason you're not improving, and more importantly, what you can do to change that, starting today. But before we reveal the mistake, let me ask you something. How do you study English right now? Be honest. Do you spend most of your time reading grammar rules? Do you try to memorize lists of irregular verbs or translations from your native language? Do you feel proud when you finish a page of exercises, but then freeze when someone asks you a simple question in English? If that sounds familiar, then keep listening, because this is exactly the trap we're talking about. Most learners don't even realize it, but they are spending 90% of their time on methods that don't match how real language works. It's like trying to learn how to swim by reading a book about swimming, or trying to play the guitar by memorizing the names of the strings. You can study forever, but the moment you face reality, you fail. And here's the shocking part. The schools, the textbooks, and even many online teachers keep pushing this system. Why? Because it keeps you coming back. If you never become fluent, you will always need another course, another book, another lesson. It's a business model, not an education system. In this episode, I'm going to break down the biggest mistake that English learners make, the reason you're not improving, and show you the path out. But first, we need to clearly understand what this mistake looks like in your daily life.
So, what is this mistake that keeps millions of English learners trapped for years? It's simple. You're learning English with your eyes instead of your ears. Think about it. From the very first English class you probably had, the focus was always on reading and writing. Teachers gave you worksheets, you had to read dialogues, fill in blanks, and answer grammar questions. Maybe you even got good grades, but the truth is, you were never training your brain to hear and process real English in real time. This is the reason you can look at a page of English and understand almost everything, but when a native speaker talks to you, it feels impossible. Your brain has learned to recognize English visually, like a code on paper. But spoken English, that's a completely different world. The sounds don't match the words you memorized. Natives speak fast, they connect words, they drop sounds, and they use expressions that no textbook ever showed you.
And here's the dangerous part. Most learners don't realize this until it's too late. They spend years studying, thinking they are improving, only to discover that when they actually need English, at work, traveling, or in conversation, they can't understand or respond naturally. Let me give you a powerful example. Imagine you memorized the sentence, "What are you going to do?" You know all the words, you've practiced the grammar, you feel confident. Now, when a native speaker actually says it, they don't say, "What are you going to do?" Instead, they say it like this, "What you gonna do?"
And suddenly, you're lost. You don't hear what, you don't hear are, you don't hear going. All your years of studying don't help you in that moment. This is the mistake. You trained yourself for the wrong game. And if you don't fix it, you'll never feel fluent. Because fluency is not about grammar perfection, it's about automatic understanding and response. Now, you might be asking, okay, so how do I fix it? The answer is not more textbooks. It's not more grammar exercises. It's not even memorizing more vocabulary lists. The real solution is training your ears and your mouth every single day in the same way you learned your first language. Think about how children learn. They don't open a book. They don't study irregular verbs. They listen hours and hours every single day. They repeat what they hear, even if it's wrong at first. Slowly, their brain adapts. They don't learn grammar, they absorb it because they hear it in a real context. But schools don't want you to learn this way, because if you did, you wouldn't need them anymore. You wouldn't need endless classes. You wouldn't need expensive materials. You would become independent. That's why they keep you stuck with grammar-heavy, reading-focused methods that make you feel like you're progressing, when in reality, you're just collecting information that you can't use in real life. And here's the wake-up call. If you've been studying English for more than a year and you still can't understand fast native speakers, then this mistake is controlling you. But don't feel bad. Remember, it's not your fault. You've simply been trained the wrong way. The good news is, once you understand the problem, you can start to change it. And the transformation can be faster than you think. In fact, some learners who switch to ear-based, real speech practice see more progress in 6 months than in the previous 6 years. Why? Because they're finally training the right skill. Imagine this. Instead of freezing in confusion the next time a native speaker talks, You catch the meaning instantly. You don't translate in your head. You don't panic. You simply understand and respond. That's fluency. And here's the key. Fluency comes from listening to real English every single day in a way that trains your brain to recognize the patterns, the sounds, and the rhythm.
In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to make this switch. You'll learn the 3 steps to retrain your ears, destroy the bad habits, and finally, move toward true fluency. But before we go there, let's make one thing clear. If you keep following the traditional method, if you keep trusting the schools and the books, then 5 years from now, you'll still be stuck. Still reading, still translating, still frustrated. But if you decide to change today, you can finally escape this trap, and the results will shock you. So now you know the truth. The biggest mistake is learning English with your eyes instead of your ears. But the real question is, how do you fix it? How do you finally break free from years of wrong training and start moving toward real fluency? The answer comes down to 3 simple steps. If you follow them consistently, you'll notice results faster than you ever thought possible.
Step 1. Flood your ears with real English. Stop spending 90% of your time with grammar books and translations. From today, make listening your #1 priority. And I don't mean listening passively, like playing English in the background while you scroll on your phone. I mean active listening. Choose content that matches your level but challenges you. Podcasts, YouTube videos, audiobooks, anything with real, natural English. Listen every day, even if it's just 20 minutes. The goal is to train your brain to recognize the real sounds of English, not the artificial ones from textbooks. Here's the key. Don't panic if you don't understand every word. That's normal. Focus on catching the rhythm, the intonation, and the repeated patterns. Over time, your brain will start connecting the sounds to meaning automatically. Think about it like going to the gym. At first, the weights feel impossible, but with consistency, your muscles grow stronger. Listening works the same way. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Step 2. Shadow. Don't just repeat. Most learners repeat sentences after a teacher or audio. That's fine, but it's not enough. You need to practice a technique called shadowing. This means listening to a sentence and immediately speaking at the same time as the speaker, trying to match their rhythm, their speed, even their emotion. Shadowing forces your brain to connect your ears and your mouth. It's like programming your brain to respond automatically. Instead of translating in your head, you start producing English directly. At first, it feels strange. You'll stumble, you'll fall behind, you'll make mistakes.
but that's the process. Every mistake is training your brain to get faster, smoother, and more natural. Here's the secret. Fluency is not about speaking perfect English. It's about speaking without fear, without hesitation. Shadowing kills hesitation. And the more you do it, the more your confidence grows.
Step 3. Learn phrases, not words. This is where most learners waste years. They try to memorize long vocabulary lists, believing more words equals more fluency. But here's the truth. Native speakers don't speak word by word. They speak in chunks or phrases. Think about it. A native speaker doesn't say, I am going to the store. They say it as one single chunk. I'm going to go to the store. If you only learn individual words, you'll always sound robotic and slow. But if you learn phrases, you start to sound natural. You don't have to build sentences in your head. They're already ready. So from now on, whenever you learn new vocabulary, learn it as a phrase, not decision, but make a decision. Not responsible, but responsible for something. This is how natives speak, and this is how you should train.
Now, imagine if you actually applied these 3 steps for the next 6 months. Daily listening, daily shadowing, daily phrase learning. Do you think your English would still feel stuck? Of course not. You would transform. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start using this method, English learning becomes fun again. You stop feeling like a student and you start feeling like a real communicator. You enjoy podcasts, music, conversations, all while getting better every day. But let me give you a warning. The system you've been following will try to pull you back. Schools, teachers, even well-meaning friends will tell you to keep studying grammar, keep memorizing, keep doing what doesn't work. Don't fall into the trap again.
You've seen the truth now. You know the mistake, and you know the way out. So here's your challenge. Starting today, commit to these 3 steps. No excuses. No waiting until next week. No, I'll try. Start now. Put on your headphones, play some real English, and flood your brain with the sounds of the language. Shadow what you hear. Collect phrases instead of words. Do this, and 6 months from now, you'll look back and wonder why you ever wasted so much time with the old method. This is your wake-up call. This is your moment. Stop learning English the wrong way and start training for real fluency today.